All right. Hey, this is just a quick, off the cuff, quick thoughts about first day at Maryland Deathfest. Um, Not really a review or anything, but just giving my first impression so I don't forget like later on. Okay, so I got into Baltimore real early today, and man, I've been up for about 24 hours traveling. So although all the bands today were really awesome, uh, being worn out kind of sucks and kind of starts to take away the enjoyment of seeing all these bands. But luckily, it wasn't too much of a hindrance. This year is my first year going to the soundstage. Soundstage, there's no barrier. They like stage divers and crowd surfers and stuff there. And tonight was kind of like all slam death metal, which is pretty cool. First band was Mortal Decay. Again, just old school, brutal slam death metal. No bassist, just two guitar players. I thought they were all right. I think their sound would have been a little bit better if they had a bass player just to hit that low end just a little bit more. But they did fine. After them was Origin, who's from Kansas, which is where I'm from. So I mean, it's kind of funny. I go halfway across the country and I see a band that lives 20 minutes away from me. But this is probably the best time I've seen Origin. I've seen them a lot. Jason is fantastic on stage. He can control any crowd that he wants to. He's a great frontman. Um, Tons of stage divers, tons of moshing, a great wall of death. Uh, Pretty much I mean, it's a typical Origin show. Like Origins is a fantastic live show, but that's a typical Origin show. John kind of like broke his drum set because he was beating on it too hard. I thought that was kind of fun. So I had to stop the set for a little bit. But yeah, pretty good pick of songs throughout their entire kind of career. Nothing too out of the ordinary, but this is the best they've sounded. Maybe just because I'm so used to seeing them in the same venues in Kansas City, so I know what they're going to sound like in those. And here it just sounded so much different. Maybe because this is a bigger venue, but this is probably the best time I've seen Origin. After Origin was old school legendary slam band, Internal Bleeding. Very fun. They kind of pioneered kind of like the breakdowns and the slam riffs in this kind of genre. So it's cool to hear a lot of those. They played a lot of new songs like on their upcoming album, which sound just like an old Internal Bleeding song. So I thought that was pretty cool. Again, Internal Bleeding was like everyone get up on stage. So like, there was like 20 people on stage just standing up there headbanging and stuff. I thought that was kind of cool. Um, yeah, they were a lot of fun. But when they kind of like stopped and then slowly went into the breakdown, I mean, I'm just a sucker for that stuff, so that was really fun. After then was a band I never thought I'd get to see live. It was Skinless. Skinless, they've been reformed for a couple years. I don't know how long they were broken up for, but I've never had a chance to see them, so this was real cool. They had the probably the biggest crowd of the night and probably the biggest crowd reaction of the night. Um, Non-stop moshing, crowd surfing, stage diving, stuff like that. Uh, the biggest reactions I think were probably for the Optimist. They had everyone take out their phones and videotape the song. So we're gonna make a video out of this, out of all your guys' cell phone videos. I thought that was pretty funny. The Optimist and some of the other stuff. Jason from Origin came out and did vocals for a little bit of one song because he's the ex-vocalist of Skinless. Real good. Uh, I can hear in Skinless's music like the uh, like what they kind of take from other bands, but then they just do it so much better than a bunch of those bands. Great stage presence. The riffs were great. Everything sounded great. A lot of fun. And then closing out the night was Devourment, who I wanted to see for a really long time. I thought recently that I may never get the chance. I thought they were breaking up, but so this was good. I I like Devourment. I'm more of a fan of Devourment than Skinless, but man, you just can't follow up Skinless. So it was maybe just a little bit underwhelming from Devourment, but they did real well. They played most of their songs off the first album, and I've been listening to the album for so long, so it's cool to hear those songs live. And then of course ending with Baby Killer, which is like the ultimate like circle pitting song. That was pretty awesome. All right, after Devourment, I headed down the street to the Ram's Head Live where, for the night show. They were running a little bit behind schedule, so actually when I got there, I got to catch the last song and a half of Jex Thoth. I'm probably not pronouncing that right. Pretty cool, like female fronted, kind of like psychedelic stoner metal, I guess. They had a guy on the keyboard, but the keyboard just sounded like a an organ, so I mean, it's kind of an old school sounding sound of kind of like that psychedelic metal, but it was all right. Pretty heavy in parts, but I only got to hear a song and a half. So after them was Conan. Conan, man, I had high hopes for them, and they completely shattered it. Ridiculously heavy. They reminded me a lot of like Cough, and I kind of like Conan better than Cough. I've seen Cough, and they were great, but Conan blew me away. Uh, Very heavy. They weren't. I kind of realized like the stuff they were playing wasn't very like technically hard or like I mean they're just doing simple riffs, but they're doing it so like just hitting the strings so heavy and everything like that. Just it made it sound so much more than just these simple riffs. But yeah, they're definitely masters of what they do, and I'm really glad I got to see them. After Conan was, and here's another band I'm probably going to pronounce wrong. So I'm going to be a Midwestern hick and call them Ufomammut from Italy. I had checked out these guys prior, and I really dug what I heard. It's hard to describe them like kind of drony stoner, psychedelic metal, hard rock, stuff like that. I mean, it's kind of hard to pinpoint their sound down to like one specific genre, but they were pretty good live. It seemed like again, I'm not really super familiar with their studio work, but it seemed like they kind of dragged out a couple of songs and like extended them, which was kind of cool. They had crazy like like psychedelic visuals going on behind them, and they had it was weird. Like for most of the songs, the guitar player acted like the bass, like he was kind of the backbone, and then the bass player was doing all these weird things with his bass guitar to make it sound like. There was a couple of points where I'm almost like, man, this isn't even like a rock group; it's more like a noise group, which is really cool. And they had a bunch of pedals on the ground, and each of them were like queued up for different samples and stuff. So that was real cool. Um, yeah, they're really impressive. I didn't know what to expect going into them, but they're really impressive. And then closing out was Yob. Yob is huge right now. They've released like just great record after great record and getting tons of mainstream attention and stuff. Um, Super heavy. Like yeah, they're going to be heavy, but I kind of expected them to be like Wind Hand heavy, which is like yeah, Wind Hand is heavy, but it's like the riffs are kind of drawn out and like the vocals are kind of in the background. But Yob was kind of the opposite. Is like it was very hard hitting, which is kind of a weird thing to say for a band that's known for like such long, like stoner doom songs. Like take Bong Ripper. Bong Ripper, yeah, they're heavy, but it's like stretched out a bunch. And then Yob, their songs are stretched out a bunch, but then their heaviness, like it's not stretched out. So that was kind of cool. I was happy with them. But yeah, so I mean that's not really a review or anything, but I'll go more in depth on that later. But tomorrow, I think doors at the first day of tomorrow's the first day that we have the outside stages. I know the main band I'm looking forward to tomorrow is Cyanide, and love that Death Doom. But yeah, I guess I'll go back then. I bought a poster today. It's not a silk screen poster. It's kind of like a vinyl poster, which is kind of cool. Didn't know it was gonna be vinyl, but it's pretty nice. Other than that, I guess I'll be back tomorrow after day 2. All right, bye.